Okay, so as I hinted at the end of the notes, almost every set of notes that we do will have a corresponding guided practice to go along with it. What this is an opportunity for y'all to try to lead the conversation and make sure you have a good grasp of what's going on. So virtually, for the virtual learners, what I would highly, highly recommend is trying to work ahead of me. And what I mean by that is try to predict what I'm going to say before I even say it. For instance, number 1, what do you think we would do to solve that equation? Subtract 1/4 from both sides. So let's do that. It's going to give us n equals 3/4 minus 1/4. Well, I know 3 minus 1 is 2. I'm going to stick that over 4. One thing to always try to do is simplify fractions. 2/4 can simplify to 1/2. So that means my final answer is n equals 1/2. Okay, on the next one, if you notice they're all variables. That's okay. We can still solve them even though they're all variables. What I highly recommend, whatever it says to solve for, in our case it's an x right here, highlight that or circle that in your problem. When it says to solve for that variable, that means to get that variable by itself. So what do we have to do to get x by itself? Since this says plus z, we have to do the opposite. We have to say minus. Why did it change pins on me? We have to say minus z. So I'm going to say minus z over here. That's going to be y minus z equals x. Now remember, do we leave it like that? We solved for x. That's the variable we want by itself. No. So I'm going to just flip the whole thing. I'm going to say x equals y minus z. There we go. There's that one. Okay. Number 3. Looks like they threw some decimals in there for us. So what could we do with those decimals? Same thing we do with anything else. Let's subtract 2.5 from both sides. It's going to give us x equals 7 minus 2.5 is 4.5. There's our answer. Okay. So we've done the first three. Hopefully y'all are doing pretty good. Y'all are getting the hang of it. Let's look at number 4. What do you notice about number 4? Well, for one thing, they all have a B in there. So we have 4B minus 1B minus 8B. If we combine all of those together, so in your calculator, or if you, hopefully you don't need a calculator, you can just do it in your head. 4 minus 1, we took 1 away, we're left with 3. Now we're going to take 8 away. It'll be negative 5B equals 12. Okay, so we need to get B by itself, so let's divide by negative 5. That's going to give us B equals negative 12 over 5. Now at this point, you can leave it like that, or you could put it as a decimal. Negative 2.4. Either way works with me. Either way works. Okay, number 5. We want to get that M by itself eventually, but we can't do anything with the 8 right now, because that 8 is right there close to the M. What doesn't have anything on it? The minus 2. So let's add 2 to both sides. We're going to get M over 8 equals 7. Now, since it's saying M divided by 8 equals 7, what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So do times 8 times 8. It's going to leave you with M equals 7 times 8 is 56. 56. Okay, cruising right along. Number 6. So we see this negative 6 outside the parentheses. That means we're going to need to not use a highlighter. I don't want to use a highlighter. I want to distribute this negative 6. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18x. Negative 6 times negative 8 is positive 48. Equals negative 6. So now what do we have to do? Subtract 48. Good. So that's going to give us negative 18x equals negative 54. Remember, our 6 and our 48 are both negative, so we're going to be even more negative. I'm going to rewrite this up here because I'm out of room. And last but not least, we have to divide by negative 18. Which means that x equals 3. Okay, so hopefully those weren't too bad. Hopefully you got the hang of it. Let's look at a word problem. It says 3/5 of the students on a school trip are boys. Okay, we need to try to, I'm going to just stop there. We need to try to come up with an equation here. It says 3/5 of the students on a school trip are boys. So if students, I'm not going to use S because my S almost looks like a 5. So let's use T. So T equals number of students. It says 3/5 of those are boys. So what that tells us is boys is 3/5 of T. So now the next sentence, it says there's 33 boys on the trip. How many boys? 33. How many total students are on the trip? They want us to solve for T. Well, we know boys in this equation right here. Boys are 33. That's what we found right there. So our equation to solve is 33 equals 3/5 T. I probably wouldn't leave it like that. Let's go on and flip the whole equation. 3/5 T equals 33. Now, what we need to do here, this one's a little tricky. So who remembers what we need to do before I just tell you? Who remembers what we need to do? So this one doesn't quite look like one we've done as far as the fraction. So when we have a fraction like this times a variable, we multiply by what's called the reciprocal, meaning you flip it. And it'll be flipping awesome. So we flip. Those go away. That's going to leave us with T equals 33 times 5/3. That'll get us 55. So how many students were on the trip? 55 students. There's our answer. Okay, so that's the guided practice. In case you still haven't figured it out, we just did the first 7 problems on your assignment together. Those are 7 problems you should get right. Almost, I'm not going to say almost every assignment will be like this. We're going to do a few problems. So those are ones that you should not miss. They're easy points. And then you complete the rest on your own. If you need help, you can ask me for help. If you're in class, you can ask me in person. If you're virtual, you can email me. I have virtual office hours. They're just however you can get a hold of me, I'll be there to help you. That's what I'm here for. So, like it says, I'd probably work these on my own paper because there's not enough room here. Like if you printed out the actual worksheet itself, there's really not enough room. Now, if you're doing the Google form, there's certainly not enough room on that. Anyways, I'll stop the video here. We finished the day 1 guided practice.